The trade is 1-for-1. Jesse Puljujarvi to the Pittsburgh Penguins in exchange for Kasperi Kapanen. What would your thoughts be? What's your first reaction if that's what you see tomorrow morning on Twitter? This is Dolynny TV. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel today. And let me tell you, that's something we saw crop up over the end of this week as we headed into the weekend is Frank Saravelli's trade board of the top 20 likely to be traded players in the NHL ahead of this Christmas season coming up, kind of getting us geared up for what will be the mad dash now to the trade deadline throughout the solid months of winter for most of the NHL. And Kasperi Kapanen falls with a $3.2 million salary in at number 20. This has been mentioned by a couple of people out there in the world of Oilers stuff. I'm not breaking ground on this Kasperi Kapanen for Jesse Puljujarvi trade right now because simply put, it's already been discussed. But friends, if you're new to the channel, I'd love to have you along. So if you'd be so kind, if you're interested in exploring this topic a little bit more, hit the like button and I'd love to appreciate that support. And second, if you'd be so kind to hit the subscribe button and stick around for more Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel, that would be greatly appreciated as well. So we're off and flying into this video. Kasperi Kapanen for Jesse Puljujarvi. So this is something that popped up, like I said, over the past couple of days. I don't even know where to attribute it to. I've seen it a million and one ways and don't want to go clicking around trying to find it because it really doesn't matter. Because this is, to exactly my degree, finally something where we can talk about another team being willing to deal on Jesse Puljujarvi. We saw today Puljujarvi had some great chances, was a very big impact on that top line at times against the New York Rangers in the game where the Oilers just never said die and quit on themselves. No, instead, everybody kept their feet moving, everybody kept pressuring, and they finally broke through and won 4-3. However, yes, Puljujarvi scores an assist. Sure, that's great. But when you've got grade A chances up top with McDavid and Draisaitl, I think the tendency is to expect goals. And that is just something that hasn't really come from Jesse Puljujarvi yet this season, or really anyone outside of the big four on the Oilers forward group. So you in turn look at Kasperi Kapanen, who's having about a very similar season to Jesse Puljujarvi, not much of an impact offensively, trying his best to steady water with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and in need of maybe a change of scenery when it comes down to it because of the deal he signed with Ron Hextall not too long ago. So let's quickly go over to capfriendly.com. I'm going to break down some numbers for you, and we're going to get this going because this is one of those things where we can definitely have a little bit of fun with this and see where we end up going on this topic. So Kasperi Kapanen, it's the first result, July 23rd, 1996. He's 26 years old. Not much older than Puljujarvi, I think only 2 years old. He's on a $3.2 million deal for this year and next. The Oilers would have cost certainty in a forward next year if indeed they were to trade for him. Of course, the cap hit going up, or cap ceiling going up a little bit, could help out for the Oilers as well a little bit. So Kasperi Kapanen's been with the Penguins for the past 3 years, 30 points in 40 games in 2021. And then, of course, 21-22, 32 points in 79 games. And so far, 5 points in 13 games, which over an 82-game pace would it pace out to be, my friends, stick with me, 31.5 points. So you're talking about a serviceable top 9 winger on the Oilers if that pace were to continue. The problem is he is not much of a playoff performer in his career so far, only 13 points in 38 games. Not exactly sound numbers, but again, kind of worse than his regular season numbers. So you see a $3.2 million cap hit. For a team like the Edmonton Oilers, that is where we get to the meat and potatoes that I actually find this very interesting, is that it is of something to note there, because for the Oilers, you could potentially go out there and acquire him and still have $2.3 million left over in your LTIR pool. And obviously, too, we saw good news during today's broadcast of Evander Kane shooting a puck down the ice off the bench at one point during practice yesterday or the day before. So that, to an extent, is exciting as well. So for the Oilers who are looking for a spark, I mean, are you going to trade Kasperi Kapanen 1-for-1 for Jesse Puljujarvi, who's making $3 million, right? You still got 2.3, 2.2, somewhere in there in that range of salary cap left. And it's one of those intriguing things. The Oilers could do it. And I don't know why at this point you wouldn't, as I spoke to the point the other day, simply put, for the Oilers is it is time. Whether you really love Puljujarvi or not, right? I went out and bought that jersey, and I'm sitting here advocating to say it's probably time to let him go on to greener pastures and see what he can do elsewhere. Because for the Oilers, it just seems at this point we're just not going to get it right with this kid. And that's kind of part and parcel of knowing when to do right by someone and knowing when to do right by the team. And doing right by both means ending up trading Jesse Puljujarvi sometime in the next few months. Now, the fear, I guess you could say, when it comes to trading Jesse Puljujarvi for Kasperi Kapanen is you have a Ryan Strome for Ryan Spooner 2.0 deal in the month of November, December 2022, and then you have to really figure it out from there. Well, that would be indeed the fear for most of us Oilers fans is you're trading down. Like, Puljujarvi's a big-bodied guy. Puljujarvi's done a lot more in the hit column this year. He's kind of answered the toll as a big player in the NHL, trying to be a bit more of an impact, kind of what Alex Chiasson was supposed to be for us when he really wasn't throwing his weight around. Now kind of doing that minus the scoring that Chiasson had there for a couple of years. So for the Edmonton Oilers, I mean, right, is there's a lot of benefit to doing it. So too is there for Jesse Puljujarvi, but there's also that risk that Puljujarvi is exactly what Sidney Crosby needs on his wing kind of deal, and that's the scary part. Is you know how the Pittsburgh Penguins have turned guys that really are kind of toiling away in their careers into superstars over the years, playing next to Malkin and playing next to Crosby. So there's a lot that could happen in a deal such as this, but as it comes down to it, I'm very much so in favor. I don't see anything really wrong with making such a deal. I think it's something that the Oilers could benefit heavily from. And I mean, the salary cap implications are absolutely minimal at this point, so there's a lot to go out there and you can kind of enjoy if you're the Edmonton Oilers in the sense of what you can do with this team throughout the rest of the season should you make this deal for Jesse Puljujarvi for Kasperi Kapanen. Folks, really there isn't much you can really add to this, right? Kasperi Kapanen, we've gone over the baseline stats. I don't want to talk about possession metrics because that means nothing for a player coming to Edmonton versus going to somewhere else. So we will talk to you in a little bit. I do have one more video I want to try and get up tonight. It may be the old Dolynny TV Saturday night midnight upload if anyone's up for that, as we'll try to light up Sunday morning here on the channel. Folks, I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's discussion, leave a like on the video, and I am up on out of here.